Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. So glad that you're joining us today as we share information, inspiration, and education to help us all elevate our communities to be the difference. We're going to talk about a lot of what is necessary to empower you and help you to be the change maker you are in position to be. So let's get started within the news. Inside the news today is going to share new information by the American Red Cross. There are many ways you can help. Did you know that you can not only help save a life through monetary giving, that's your donations, to help the missions and the work being done worldwide, especially throughout our country? The American Red Cross is a leader in helping to address many of the emergencies and crises we experience in the United States, whether they be natural disasters, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes. The American Red Cross is one of those tested organizations that helps to make sure that our dollars go for what they're supposed to, our resources do, and your human capital. So the Red Cross is seeking volunteers. They're asking that if you have time and you want to serve your country, there are many ways that you can volunteer and give your time and services. You can go to redcross.org. You can find out information on how to get CPR certified so that you can save a life. Let's say you're driving on the highway and notice someone collapse. Would you know what to do? Let's say you're in your church or place of worship. Would you know what to do? How about the grocery store, doctor's office, or even your home? There was a story recently about a little boy who was on a school bus and all the kids were headed to school and the bus driver had a heart attack. Live today because that little boy took a CPR class. He began CPR until the paramedics and everyone could get there to get medical professional attention. But in those crucial moments when your heart stops, it's not about the age of the person. It's about the skill that they have to know what to do, to know how to pump on your chest, to know how many times you should, to know the specifics around if you need to find an AED machine. Yeah, people who were CPR certified 15 years ago, a lot has changed. Go to redcross.org to see what you can do to be that Superman and Superwoman. Also, you can, of course, donate blood. There are ways that you can sign up to be a donor and help save a life as well. Do you know that donating an organ, deciding to be a donor upon your death, could save 70 lives? Or maybe you are okay with helping your family member go through the process of having a kidney. Right now, the list for kidneys is overwhelming. There aren't enough donors to help those who are awaiting transplants of many different organs, but especially kidneys. And again, there's a blood shortage, and the Red Cross talks about it. How sometimes during the weather months, people decide not to go out in the cold and donate like they would during the season. So if you have the opportunity to be that giver, reach out to redcross.org and get more information on the vetting process, the application, and the qualifications. What you need to know, you can find on that website. And yes, you can also donate monetarily. The Red Cross does pay teams to show up when there's fires. They're usually one of the first on the scene, offering blankets and food and water, emergency support to help that family be warm while they're going through that traumatizing experience. To help have enough for babies that might need pampers and whatever they may need being displaced, even those fur babies, our pets. And yes, your cash is tax deductible. Go ahead and write it off. There's a 2 for 2. You get to donate and have it count towards your taxes. Family, what's most important is the power of you. What you can do with what you have. If you're going to be a donor upon your death, make sure you let your motor vehicle department know, so that they can put that on your license. Sadly, the time is of the essence when someone transitions. But how wonderful could it be to know that when you go, because we all will, you'll live on and help a countless number of others to be able to enjoy life to the fullest. Come on and be a difference maker. Redcross.org has information on everything from CPR trainings in your area to how you can figure out where to donate blood, to what you can do to get scheduled to help their missions that make you an ambassador for change. How about helping to advance health equity and compassionate caring when folks need it the most? Yeah, the Red Cross supports critical programs, and you could be the one. Family, whether you volunteer, whether you donate physically, or whether you donate monetarily, come on and figure out what you want to do. And then encourage those around you to also help so that we can make our community stronger as well. I'll share it with you this way. When you're in need, it doesn't matter who signed up to be the donor. All you know is you need that blood. You're in the hospital and they said transfusion. You know that you need, if your mom might need or your child needs, then you just are in a place where you hope someone was moved to be a difference maker. Family, that could be you. Go to the American Red Cross. Redcross.org is waiting to hear from you today. We hope this information was helpful, but stay tuned. We're going to keep talking about health and wellness as we bring a passionate voice on the planet to you. I'm excited to hear our next guest, so stay tuned. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks, one-fifth of the amazing queens of empowerment from the Empowered Morning Show. And I am here to personally invite you to join us for the premiere of our brand new show, Queens of Behavior. That's right. We have a brand new show coming out. And before the world gets to see it, we want you to see it. So join us April 27th at 8 p.m. in Douglasville, Georgia at Studio T on Chapel Hill Road for the premiere of Queens of Behavior. It's a red carpet event, so make sure you dress for the occasion. We can't wait to see you there.
Welcome back to the Power Up family. We're glad you're joining us as we go into our health front, where the producers of the Power Up make sure to emphasize what's most important to share information and inspiration in how we can be healthy in this body. I want to welcome to the Power Up the amazing Regina. Regina is one of a powerful sisters who is a true voice of health and wellness. Regina, being the CEO of Sacred Healing, we're so glad that you're joining us today. Tell us, if you will, a little about Sacred Healing.
Thank you so much. I just truly, I'm blessed to be on this platform with you on today. Yes, my name is Regina Hutt. I am the CEO of Sacred Healing, Mind, Body, and Soul. Sacred Healing was birthed out of the afflictions of my own health and what I had endured. And I wanted something to be, how do you say? I worked in the industry in healthcare for 19 years in westernized medicine, so I have education in it. But I wanted something that was going to go with me, something that I knew without a doubt that this would heal my body. And so it was taking the steps with Sacred Healing. Sacred Healing, mind, body, and soul was birthed. Sacred Healing is me, because it was me is the one that had to be trying everything that I was trying, from my herbalism, from my diet, from my exercising. All this is how sacred healing came about. And once I mastered, that's when I decided to come out. And so it's actually, I've been practicing herbalism and holistic practicing for 10 years now, but recently brought it out a year ago. I was released to on August 15th when I was in a setting where a older lady was attacked by an animal, and she had went to the doctor and had been under their care for wound care. And you know what? My mother just was like, Regina, it's not healing. Like, she's had all these things. And on that day, I put to work, and what I would how I would treat a wound, and within 3 days she was flaking off a scab, and that's when I knew, Regina, it's time. I was released, and that's when sacred healing was birthed. Was in that moment of this little old lady that came all the way from Honduras, and in 3 days it was just a dry scab flaking off, and she couldn't even believe it herself. But I knew without a doubt that it would do what needed to be done. And that's sacred healing. Sacred healing is sacred healing is about empowering people and being proactive in their health, that there are natural ways that you can treat the mind, body, and soul. But if we're not educated in it, how do we know? And it's not as, scary as people may think. I mean, it's just as simple as going to the grocery store. It's as simple as having a garden and you're pulling your herbs or your fruit, your vegetables, anything like that. So it's just implement in a different way. There's different forms of how we can ingest things.
Oh, my goodness. You're going to start us off that heavy, are you, Regina? I love the impact that you immediately have. I want to go back, though. I got to go
Okay.
back because there's so much to you that I want to first start, if I can, with the how. A lot of individuals feel like there's a job in them or a business
Hmm.
in them. Or how
Hmm.
did you zone it in to know this is where I'm going to start, and yet still not 1,000% doing what you want to do?
The how was, it was my purpose. I finally found my purpose. You know how you sometimes you can question, what is my purpose in life? What am I good at? And this was it. I always questioned it. And I had to get out of Regina's way and allow myself to be who I am. And this is me. Like I said, I've always been nurturing with people. My first job at 15 years old was a certified nurse's assistant. I got it back then. You got grandfathered in, and they taught you and they certified you in-house. And I've been in healthcare with that portion of it. And then I was in home health care, where I went into people's homes and went to their private areas and got to be, I become who they were in their household and got to see how people live. So I got to see a lot. And I had the compassion of what I seen when people are sick. That's not humanity. That's when people are sick and they're lying in their beds or at their weakest moments. That bothered me, to the point to was like, I know there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be. And it's not always, a lot of times they're at home and they're waiting for a healthcare provider to come to them. Either they're too busy, overbooked, and now they're waiting to either, to get their blood pressures checked. They're waiting for their, G tubes to come and get cleaned out. They're waiting for, their colostomy bags to come, all this. And I remember just being in there like, you know what, I don't have the capacity to save everybody, but I do have what I can, be a spokesperson in the community and be proactive and an advocate. I do the best that I can do. And that's why I'm always, promoting health, because somebody is going to grasp it, whether it's one, two, or three people. At least I know that I reached at least one person. And it's, for me, it's never about like the quantity of people. It's always about one person got it. And if that one person got it, then you know what? Then they'll go teach somebody else and they'll get it. And then they'll go teach somebody else and they'll get it. and it just circulates. And that's what we need to do as a people and as a community is, you know what, when we know something, why not share it? Why do we hold it in?
Wow, so
And that's the
powerful.
why. The why is that I'm mandated. A lot of people, I'm glad you asked that. I'm mandated. I don't have a choice. This is my calling. And I don't take it lightly. And I know where it comes from. And so I just let my foot be ordered by God to take me into this arena.
Wow. Uh, Powerful and so effective, right?
Mhm,
Like every person matters. And the touch of every person has to happen at some point. So why
mhm,
not you? I want to just ask this. One of the things that you mentioned when you first started speaking was the nutritional value.
mhm.
How important it is that we don't often think about what we eat being actually who we are, though that's a slogan many throw around. Tell us what you believe from your expertise is vital to know with nutrition.
Nutrition is very important. Nutrition stabilizes, yeah, your mood. Your nutrition also depends on what kind of inflammation in your body. Your food determines, the diseases that we can carry in our body. It's everything. It's everything. What we eat can affect our mental capacity. It keeps us from not being focused. It keeps us from not with our minds operating at how they should at full effect. I know because I was one. I love food. I love food to. I mean, anybody who really knows me, I love to eat. So my palate is very broad. But the foods that I used to eat were not good for me, and my body was breaking down literally just by the food. I hadn't even started exercising. It was the food that I had to master. I had to detox my body from everything that was not good. Number one, I had to get rid of sugar. Sugar was making my body ache and pain. I had so much inflammation in my body that I literally felt like an 80-year-old woman who didn't have any kind of collagen between her bones of her joints at all. My legs, it hurt to walk. It hurt to sit for long periods of time, all because of what I ate. My hands started to twirl up and twist. My toes started to twirl up and twist. Um, I started getting numbness in my wrists, all because of what I was eating, because I had an overload of stuff that was not good for me. So it is very important, very, very, very important to what is it that we're ingesting, you know, quick, easy things, a lot of times what, if we go to fast food, that's not good for you. You go into frozen food, that's not good for you. But taking the time to prepare even the small things, what I tell people all the time, well, I don't have time to do this. Well, I said, you know what? You have time to get a bag of nuts. You have time to eat some yogurt. You have time to have fruit. Those are grab and go things. That doesn't take a whole lot of preparation, you know? What are we doing in the meantime to ingest? Can we ingest a little bit more that is better for us? And make a conscious decision, like how much do we value ourselves? Because the time will start ticking. And before you know it, you will be in the hospital with high blood pressure, uh, high cholesterol, diabetes. Then you start forming different things of shortness of breath. Then you'll start having memory loss, and then you'll start having joint pains. All this stuff starts adding up, and then you're wondering like what happened. Well, what happened is if you wrote a journal down and wrote down everything that you eat in a day, okay, and if you write down everything you eat in a day, and if you actually research everything that you eat and see what the side effects are, you would really be surprised. And if you was to eliminate these, guarantee you that those side effects will go away. And that's being proactive in your health, is eliminating things that are toxic to your body.
I love the rawness and the experience that you bring to it because you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. Sadly, we don't think about that first.
Hmm.
Many folks don't deal with their body till it breaks down.
Yeah.
One of the things we had a nurse on the show recently, and one of the things she said is folks are okay with taking medication,
Mhm.
and it's not okay to take medication. You need it, but it should be not something you're good with taking forever.
Correct.
Medication is only for maintenance while you make a change to help get you to a place where you can be healthy.
Mhm.
Talk, if you will, about the holistic tips. What should folks know? There's so many stigmas and myths and all of that.
Okay.
What would you like to share about the holistic lifestyle?
Okay, holistic, yes, it does sometimes doesn't get the greatest rap is because nobody a lot of times we're not educating it. Holistic means natural. Natural. Natural means anything that grows from the ground. Natural. Nothing that's made in the laboratory. Okay? Holistic means that I choose to take an organic approach to my life. One, like I said, medicine, yeah, you need it, but it's just for maintenance. I choose not to be on medicine. Why? Because I'm being proactive. Holistic, let me give you an example. I make herbal teas. One of those herbal teas, I make herbal tea. Matter of fact, I'm drinking some on tonight, my detoxify tea. I ate last night for dinner, for my dinner, and I'm going to drink some of my detoxify tea that's going to clean my organs. I have different teas for my immune system. I have different teas for my respiratory pain relief. That is the holistic. I'm doing preventive care. So these herbs that I do take on a regular basis is because I'm preventing. I'm not just taking it just because I have something. Each one of those things helps me with my respiratory. That means my respiratory system is intact. When I detoxify, it's not, I'm taking this so I make sure that my organs are cleansed out. If I'm taking my relief, that means if I may feel a little bit of, inflammation in my body, then I'm going to go ahead and take that herb so I can make sure that I don't have that inflammation in my body. So those are the things that I do as proactive care. That's holistic. It's just being proactive. One, you know what? I like to exercise. Exercise helps stabilize my mood. Instead of me taking medication and getting on Xanax and everything else like that, I choose to do exercise. Exercise helps even me out. It starts to balance. Everybody can do it, whether it's walking, whether it's stretching, whether it's sitting in the chair and doing exercises, as long as you're having some kind of circulation going through your body, you'll feel so much better. It's a holistic approach. Exercising is a holistic approach. Proper nutrition, healthy eating is a holistic approach. Those are all holistic approaches. But I don't know why some people think it's so mystic when it's just all natural foods that you can go to the grocery store and get. Infusing your water with lemon, a holistic approach. Adding cucumber and strawberries in it, a holistic approach. That's all that it is. And a lot of times people make it think that it is a mystic approach, and it's not. It's just natural.
Well, there's the end of that myth and stigma. Thank you so much, Regina. Holistic simply means natural. I appreciate you bringing your expertise on that because one of the things that we like to do is leave folks educated.
Amen.
Help us, if you will, with the years of expertise that you have in this and now making it your business, how you're going to make your living on it, being that advocate that you are on a community level. We often get questions about adults versus kids. What are your thoughts with how we can, as adults, help better our youth, the younger generation that doesn't move as much as we used to?
Well, I mean, you know what? It could really, honestly, and I deal with a lot of young adults, and they don't know, they don't move. They really don't. They really don't move. And you know what? One of the things is that when I talk to them is that, you know what? It is important because you don't want to get to an age. If you're already sedative now at a young age, imagine when you hit about 30 to 35. At 30 and 35, you're going to start feeling like you're 50 and 60. And that's the fact of it. Where other generations, we were more active all the way up until you're almost closer to maybe your 30s, and then you just stop. But if you're young and you're not doing anything, first, number one is what kind of motivation do you have for yourself? Because it starts showing in whether you're in college. If you're in college, what kind of a student are you? Are you tired? Are you procrastinating? Are you lazy? All that runs into that. And a lot of times, they're not told these things like, you know what? If you take another approach on just investing into who you are, instead of running around here, and then you're not even realizing how to balance. And this is where these young people start getting anxiety and they start getting depression, because it's not educated to them, like, you know what, it's a lifestyle. How do you handle stress? How do you handle anxiety? Do you go to the doctor and they give you a pill? Now at 20 years old or 22 years old, now you're introduced to medication. Now you think you need it because that's what you're told, and you're naive in a lot of areas. You're not educated in a lot of areas, and they give you this pill that you don't really even know, other than you're taking it, and now you don't feel like you're anxious, or you don't feel like you're depressed. But 9 times out of 10, how disciplined are you in taking it? And a lot of times that's what happens. They're not disciplined on taking it. And so just incorporate, like, where's your disability? Where can you be consistent? Where can you be motivated and committed to? And when we need to reach out, I'm so glad you talked about this, because we need to be advocates to our young people. And it's, as an adult, it is my responsibility to be proactive, so you can be an example for them of what this is, because they may not have an example. They may not have a household that their parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles are showing these things, so they're just following suit of what they've seen. But there are other avenues for people like us to go into the communities and be a willing vessel to say, hey, you know what, I'm willing to take time out with you. What is it that you need to know? Do you know how to cook? Some of them don't even know how to cook. Some of them don't even know how to cook, so that's why they're going to these fast foods, and that's why they're going to these little quick things in the grocery store. What is about taking, let me show you how to make a good healthy dish. Let me show you how to make, hey, an egg sandwich is healthy on some wheat toast. Just basic things that they could be taught and educated on, and it's very important, literally.
Your heart is amazing, and your work for so many different cultures and ethnicities is
Hmm.
truly admirable. I think a lot of times we get stuck in our community and thinking because that's all we know, we live in this box. But we're all one human race and all have to deal with healthcare on some level.
Hmm.
We all saw that during a pandemic, a global outbreak of a communicable airborne disease that you breathe in, no one could box up and control. And it infected every living thing, including pets. I
Yes.
want to ask this. You are an advocate as well, so I can't let you go without tapping into that motivator that you are. If you would speak to one of our viewers or any of our viewers who might have just heard information from you for the first time, but they're in a place where maybe they feel stuck or they don't know how to make the first step, or they're dealing with the pressures of life where they have to decide medicine versus holistic, or can I even afford the drugs versus not taking, and the stress and everything of what's going on around them. Speak, if you would, some hope to our viewers.
Okay. uh what I would like for anybody who's on here tonight, or whoever's listening, is that one thing that I want, if you don't get anything else, is that you have to literally love yourself enough to put yourself first. There's many times that we will go through things. There's many times that things and trials and tribulations that we will face. But you have to know that you were created more than to suffer and pain, suffering and being misunderstood, suffering from rejection, all those things. You're worth everything. And when you find out that the worth that you have inside of you, that you will flourish in every area of your life. And one thing that I can always say is that you have to have determination. You have to have a push. You have to have a motivation out of this world, literally. A lot of times we look for sources outside, but sometimes the biggest source is within us. Us. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what? When everything else is around me seems like it's falling, what am I going to do for myself? Am I just going to die? Literally, am I just going to allow myself to die? Am I just going to give up? No, I'm not going to give up. We can't give up. You're a mother, okay? You're a sister, you're a daughter. There are some people who depend on you just to be in their corner. Do you throw in the towel just because? No, you don't. You fight. You fight for what's right. And this is why I am here. This is why Sacred Healing Mind, Body, Soul is because I'm an advocate. I want people to live. I want them to be flourishful. I want them to prosper in every area of their life. And in order for this to happen, I'm on this screen right now, motivating, letting you know that you can do this. I don't care what somebody tells you. I don't care if they tell you that you're nothing. I don't care if they tell that you don't have the finances. Whatever a man thinketh, so he is. If you think you're great, you're great. Don't look at your circumstances. Don't look at your reality. That means nothing because you can overcome those things. How? Because I know. How? Because I did it. How? Because, everybody that told me that I wasn't going to do it, I did it. I did it for myself because I knew I was great. My reality didn't look like it was great, but something inside of me said, if I don't quit, if I don't stop, I will make it to the promise. And here I am today, the young 15-year-old girl who used to go and volunteer at the nursing home just so she would get out of the house so she could have a peace of mind and go over there. And she started working. And now I'm today a CEO of my own. So it's possible. Keep striving for whatever it is that you want. I don't care what it looks like. Keep striving. Even if you don't have it all, keep striving.
I'm so honored that you came to visit us today, that you brought your expertise and your excellence. I'm sure, hopeful you'll come back and join us again. We often get viewer questions, so I would love to have you as another health front expert. How can folks get in touch with you, Ms. Hutt?
Yes, you can reach me on my website at Sacred Healing MBS, .com. And I am on the platforms. I'm on IG, Sacred Healing 1611 on IG, and then Facebook is Sacred Healing MBS.
And you are also a talk show host. Please share on the We Empower Network. You have a show.
Yes, I do. I have a morning show every morning at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. I am actually the wellness advocate on there on Wednesdays, but I enjoy it. I enjoy being in that space with these ladies, and we empower everybody. We get up early in the morning so we can empower and bring some hope into your life where sometimes that you don't feel like it. But yes, Empower Mornings, 7 a.m. Facebook, IG.
And she's being very modest. She also has her own show where you promote fitness, because I was watching it and I had to get up and start moving. I actually started talking to you and you didn't know it. I said, okay, Regina. All right, I'm getting up, Regina. Okay. So that's kind of what you do and what we need in the planet now more than ever. Family, reach out to Regina Hutt. Watch her show on the We Empowered Network. She is an amazing, amazing human being that I'm just honored to be even connected to. I thank you for joining us. We're going to have you back, hopefully. But family, there's more to come. Stay tuned. Hey family, it's Tami, your empowerment coach, with this elevation moment. As you move forward with the new opportunities in front of you, consider taking this moment for a year in review. Consider celebrating your wins and assessing those moments where you can improve from failures or falls. Right? We're human, so we're subject to all the things of life, distractions, disappointments, making the wrong judgment call, saying something we regret. But we don't stay there. We take the opportunity to learn from it so that we can be better. Think about what you can do to shift, to change, to upgrade. And as you move forward in this new opportunity, this new season, all that's in front of you, remember, it's all meant to build you. So go be great. Welcome back to the Power Up. We're going to take this opportunity to respond to a viewer inquiry. The viewer wrote a very long email, so I'm going to Tamarize it and make it just a little shorter and to the point. She was basically asking for relationship advice. First, I want to share this. When you're in a communication growth space, consider tapping into experts around you. There are therapists, there are social workers, there are individuals that include support groups, peers, mentors, coaches, and counselors that can help you grow. Because a lot of times, relationship advice simply means there's a communication breakdown. When most folks ask, how do I, or they start to go into what they feel, their emotions are involved, it's because they're not connected well with the person they're relating to. Now, I want to share this. This relationship was intimate. So, talking about marriage or girlfriend. But I want to caution you to know that any type of relationship matters. You have to relate to your coworkers. You relate to the lady at the cash register bringing up your food. You have to be able to relate to your doctor so they know what's going on. It all becomes communication to help build connection. So, when you're thinking about how you can improve your relationship, there's a few things that we want you to consider. First of all, allow space for change and growth. Nothing stays the same. So, if your breakdown is because you're holding someone to the past, then that could be the problem. Remember that you're aging, you're changing. Why wouldn't the other person as well? And as we age and naturally change, that means that our thoughts are going to be different. We're going to see things differently just from experiences. If I know that there's a hole right there in the ground, I'm not going to step the same way I did a minute ago when I fell in the hole. If I know that there's speed bumps all up that street, then I'm not going to fly up that street knowing I have to slow down or I'm going to tear up my car. In other words, sometimes just experience helps to evolve us, change our thought process, help us to learn how to be better as we communicate. But growth itself can be difficult. Yeah, so sometimes just knowing that you're going from your 30s to 40s is not an easy thing. Going from your 20s to 30s, oh yeah. I had a friend when she turned 30, she was depressed for 3 months just because she had a birthday. But it was where her mind was with aging. While there are others who are turning 60 and going on cruises, planning trips on how they're going to celebrate aging. Difference in approach, still change happens. So when thinking about relationship, always give space to the other person's perspective. Remember that the way you see it is how you see it. Doesn't mean that even if the other person understands where you're coming from, that they're going to see it the same way. I often remember times when individuals will say, I can't stand it. I hate when it's raining. I get depressed. I just want to stay under the covers. Well, I happen to be the opposite. When it rains, I want to go out and dance in the rain, honey. I saw a beautiful 90-year-old lady who had been fighting cancer. And they told this beautiful lady she had less than a week to live. So she got all her kids and grandkids together, said, I want all of y'all to come to the house. I want to see everybody. And as she was there speaking, it started to rain. The family said, Mama, you stopped talking to us. Are you okay? Are you okay? She said, I want to go out in the rain. I want to feel the drops on me. I want to smell the air. It might be my last, and I want to experience all of it. And as they took her out in her wheelchair, she had her head back with the biggest smile. changed my thoughts, changed how I see rain now, all because I watched her embrace a moment. Now, you did hear that I said they gave her a week. So why would you wait until you're in to decide to enjoy the moment? Embrace the little things like the rain. I heard a story one time where a gentleman said, who was blind, he said, I'm not blind. I see better than most people because I hear what people are saying. I can smell and sense aromas. I know when people are coming up the hallway before they even come in the room because I smell cologne, I smell deodorant, I smell certain things. I notice footsteps, and I can tell people by how they walk. So his senses were elevated. However, if you're only looking at judging somebody or how to speak to somebody who has no sight according to how you see them, you miss the experience of relating to another human being. Again, same situation, same scenario. We all have to live this thing called life, but we all do it differently, which is the amazingness that we were created to be. So remember that change and growth happens. I want to also share another tip. Since you wrote in asking for advice, we got just a few for you. Consider being dependable. If you make plans with somebody, follow through is everything. If you say you're going to call somebody back, if you say you're going to be at a place on time, right? Little things that people think don't matter, but they can become your reputation without you even being aware. Be dependable. That way, when you're relating to people, they feel the trust factor. Ah, trust becomes one of the most influential characteristics in any type of team, in any type of relationship. Okay? Remember to follow through on commitments. Here's another one for you. Be affirming, be supportive, be that person's cheerleader. Learn how to celebrate people's success and be vocal about it. Learn how to not first go into the I shoulda, woulda, coulda. I should have had that promotion. Why didn't they choose me? And learn how to celebrate. You know what, sis? Congratulations. You've been working hard. I know if God will do it for you, he'll do it for me. So I'm just excited for you. I can't wait to see how this is going to go. Learn how to affirm people. Learn that the most that you become the voice of giving is the most that comes back to you. And you can always find a way to make somebody else feel valuable. Okay, here's another tip for you. Always be yourself. In a relationship, you can't be anyone you're not. This tip is so important. Be authentic. Be everything you were created to be. And be okay being different. It took me a long time, well into my 40s, to embrace my difference. To embrace that I'm okay with people not being Team Tammy. That it takes the amazingness of me to get up every morning and deal with me. So it's okay that others are focused on them. However, when it comes to us relating, I would rather be true and genuine and stand in my truth than try to fake and be someone I'm not. Because then as we relate, there's the trust factor that becomes questionable. There's the dependability that becomes questionable. And before you know it, folks will fall by the wayside because they don't know who you are. See, birds of a feather, they say, flock together, but you won't see eagles with chickens. They're birds. In other words, it's the type of individual that you are that draws that type of person to you. And let's say you're in a space where you want to change and be somebody brand new. I get it. The person I am right now, I was not only 5 years ago. And it was because I made the decision to decide that I want to say yes to everything that life has for me, and then start walking in it with new opportunity, new people, new connections, new experiences, all part of pouring into me and how I relate to others. The more expanded we are, the more people believe in the vast knowledge of us. Get that. The more you become that person that you see you want to be. And that's why mentoring is so important. If you see somebody winning and doing it, go do it. Reach out to them. You don't have to create the wheel and learn the hard way. There are books, podcasts, there are motivational videos, and there are people that you can connect to on this fabulous World Wide Web, ready to make space to pour into you, to help you be great. So, for the viewer who asked for relationship tips, to all of those who struggle, because people are people, and sometimes it's just hard to deal with us, I just want to encourage you to remember, tap into the resources around you, whether that's a coach, advocate, mentor, therapist, whatever you need to help you build the how you relate. Remember that change and growth is part of life, which means you can't keep relating the way you used to. You have to change, you have to grow. And maybe those individuals will start to understand the new you, how you build your language. You want to be in a new position, learn the language about that position. You want to have a new boo, learn the technology and the different ways people now engage in activities, and be open to new. And remember, celebrate folks around you. Let me tell you, one of the best things you can do is be a friend. But when you're a friend, people want to be yours, because to show yourself friendly is what will engage folks and build your relationships. Family, we hope this was helpful. Thank you, viewer, for writing into us. We welcome any inquiries. Tami at thepowerup.net. Hang on, we're going to go into our wrap up. Stay tuned, there's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wen, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami. Thank you for hanging in there and riding with us today. We started with Inside the News, where we took the opportunity to share all of the ways you can make a difference, whether it be monetarily, through donating your time and volunteering, or tapping into the American Red Cross as a blood donor, maybe considering being a donor upon your death. There are organ donors and lists that are out there where they need your ability to be that superhero and save a life. You can tap into redcross.org. Red Cross has so many different ways that they do community support. They're looking for volunteers. They have missions. Then when fires break out, they're usually the first on the scene. When there are natural disasters, they show up. Again, your donations can go to have blankets at the ready, to have the teddy bears for the kids, to have change of clothes, maybe pampers and diapers, whatever is needed in a moment of crisis, the Red Cross is prepared with. And you can be part of that amazing change making team. Redcross.org. Oh, and family, take time and become CPR AED certified. You never know when it becomes a matter of life and death. and you can make the difference. I often tell folks I stay up on my certification. I just hope I never have to use it. If I have to, I'm going to be on somebody's chest pouncing to try to keep them alive. Because when your heart stops, you want anybody, everybody, trying to keep your heart pumping, at least until medical professionals can get to you. I heard of an amazing testimony years ago where a medical doctor was interviewed, I believe in Alaska. And someone in Alaska, in a remote part of the area, had a heart attack. You can physically only pump but so long on someone's heart before you get cramps. So you have to take a break, which means there needs to be someone else there that can assume the pump. For an hour and a half, he had staff available, rotating, pumping on this gentleman's heart, who is alive today. He quickly taught the janitor staff. He quickly taught maintenance folks. He quickly taught people standing by and had folks rotate so that people could get refreshed to come right back on for an hour and a half. Enough to keep that person's heart pumping so that help could get there. Woo, what a story. Family, could you imagine if you're the one in the grocery store when someone goes down? If you're the one in your home? Kids can be taught. My grandchildren took the last certification class with me. So now they know how to do CPR. And let me help someone with teenagers. My teenage grandchildren also took the CPR class for babies because they babysit. And there's a difference in how you do CPRs on adults and on infants. So now they know if they're babysitting and a baby stops breathing or choking, what to do. Listen, here we share information to inspire y'all to come on and let's all change the world together. So if you never thought about it before, you can tap into your fire department. You can go on redcross.org and find out when they're having CPR classes. Some are free of charge. And you really want to do something? Approach your church or civic association. Find a way to make the masses all get certified together, because then we're all better. Family, we hope the information shared by our amazing guest, Miss Regina Hutt, was also helpful as she discussed holistic lifestyles. Listen, holistic just means natural. She's a fitness advocate and a community motivator. I mean, a powerhouse speaker. We're grateful that Regina joined us today, CEO of Sacred Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul. You can connect with her on all social platforms and on her website, Sacred Healing, not Sacred Heart, MBS. Family, we're going to continue to bring experts like Regina, who for years has worked in both the healthcare industry and now has launched her own business. One of the key tips she said, there are things you can do nutritionally to help get off those prescriptions, those medicines, and help you move better. Family, knowledge is power. Now you know. We're so grateful Regina joined us. We look forward to having her join us again to both share hope and insight. And as always, as we wrap up, we want to thank the production team of the Power Up, the executive management of the We Empower Network, and we thank our guests and of those who submit questions so that we can respond to your viewer inquiries. We thank our 911 responders, medical professionals, all those on the front line, our emergency personnel, the ones who are running into the fire while we're running out, who are running after the person shooting while we're running away from the bullet. Those folks that put themselves in harm's way, we thank you. We also thank our veterans for trailblazing, for your selfless service to our country and to our active military, for your selflessness, oftentimes taking you away from family and taking you across the water just so our borders can be protected, so we can disagree with each other. How about that? The freedom we have to be unique, to regardless of what we wear and how we look, the religions we practice, the foods we eat, they are protected by those wonderful men and women in uniform. And we're grateful. We also want to take this opportunity to continue to thank those who have poured their hearts into making our society better. Whatever your voice, family, your voice matters. Whether you have a family member who's dealt with something and you decide, I'm going to stand and be an advocate. I'm going to learn everything about this and I'm going to talk about it on every platform. Please do. We need your voice. Whether you've experienced trauma or something in life, there are others who are too, and they need your wisdom and your compassion to help them through this. Maybe your voice is as an author in a book. That's okay. We hear your story through the pages as well. Maybe it's a painting that makes somebody respond when they see it because it just gripped them. Maybe you have that wonderful voice, play those amazing instruments. Or maybe you're the one that can encourage folks to get out and vote, that can go to the civic meetings and say, we need a sidewalk and a stoplight here for the safety of the kids. Maybe you have time to volunteer in the schools and be part of those needed PTA meetings. How about leading a Girl Scout troop? Family, the point, whatever you do, we need you. Come on and be the change maker you were created to be. Be empowered and a power source like never before. And come on and help this planet be better every day. We hope that the Power Up was helpful, that it equipped you, educated you, encouraged and empowered you to make a difference where you are. Because where you are is on purpose and intentional. And if you're there, it's meant for you to do it. Come on, family. Right now, let's get up, let's activate, and let's decide we're going to be the one to set that atmosphere on fire for the good of humanity. There's generations to come that are waiting for you to do what you were created to do. We hope this has been helpful to you all, family. I don't know about you, but this was an amazing segment. I needed to hear all Regina poured into us, and I'm grateful that you joined us. We'll see you next time.